that we all need, which is how to attract more of your ideal clients. Robert has taken some time from a conference that he is attending today to share his brilliance with us. And Robert, we're so thankful that you were able to take the time, and we really look forward to your presentation. So please, take it away.
Okay, Carol, thank you very much. Thanks for the great introduction. I can't even remember writing that thing, so that's great. So what we're going to talk about today is how to attract more of your ideal clients, and so we have a picture there of people that might be ideal clients, you know, well-heeled people, successful-looking people, people that can pay you and people that you can make a contribution to. I think it's very important in one of the very first things that we want to do in marketing our service is to identify who our ideal clients are. You know, if we were to work with the best people, people we love to work with, there's a few criteria, love to work with, people who pay us well, and that's really important, and are willing and can and should work with us longer term, especially as coaches and consultants and independent professionals, we are going to make a bigger difference to those clients, and we're going to also have a bigger income, we're going to have more satisfaction, we're going to have fulfillment, as opposed to less than ideal clients. We all know what those are. A less than ideal client can hardly afford you, they're very strong-willed and are always working against you, or they're not doing what you said to do, they're not very coachable, and they try to buy the smallest package. Well, you have a 3-month package. Can we start with 3 weeks, you know? So that's a bit of an extreme, but you don't want those kind of clients. You want ideal clients. So we're going to talk about an approach that I have to attracting ideal clients. So one of the biggest questions in marketing is what gets attention and interest. So one way, of course, is to stand out on the interstate with a flag to flag attention, and you know, in a way, that's what marketing is. It's a sophisticated way of waving the flag and saying, "Here I am, and this is what I do, and this is what I'm about." So we have to make sure that we wave the right flag in the right way and say the right things to the right audiences in order to get response. So looking at our ideal clients again, we can look at them through 2 major filters. And one is the problems that they have. So we should think of what are the issues, the problems, the challenges, the concerns. Where do our clients get stuck? What's not working for them? What do they want to have that they don't have now? What are those rocks that they're lifting that they
Robert, we seem to have lost your audio. Not sure whether you can hear me.
No aspiration to get somewhere. An aspiration to get somewhere, to achieve a goal, to accomplish something, to get past where they are now. And so it's really a combination of the problems that they have and the aspirations that they have. And in our language and in communicating to our potential clients, we don't want to talk about us so much, me, what I do, my skill, my background. We want to talk about our clients. We want to talk about, I work with these kind of people who have these kind of challenges and these kinds of aspirations. And that's what gets attention. That's the flag that you wave, so to speak, that gets the kind of attention that you want. So either way, whether you're going after problems or aspirations, you had better provide a complete solution. A complete solution is what people are looking for. A complete solution is kind of summed up by this picture, this metaphor, you might say. So I've got a picture here of a cruise ship, and that is a complete solution. in every single way you can imagine. You know, you buy a package for the cruise ship. You sail for 7 to 10 days. You're served food. You have a cabin. It's all set up. There's nothing that they have to do. It's all taken care of. And the ship is immaculately built. It has the ship itself. It has the engine rooms. It has the swimming pool. It has the sun decks. It has the entertainment. Of course, it has the incredible buffets. And this is often not how we think of our service. We think of our service not as a complete solution. We think of it more like this diagram. And this is a process. So in a way, we're selling a process. That is, we have to implement a process of all the things that we do in order to deliver that ultimate outcome. But what a lot of independent professionals do is they promote their process. Well, what do you do? Well, we sit down with you and we do an assessment, and in this assessment we find out about this and and all of that. And you're really not going to get people's attention if you're talking about that kind of stuff. And it really is, it's epidemic. So to give you an example, when I meet with somebody and they ask me what I do, I answer with an audio logo. Just want to see what I have next here. So an audio logo. An audio logo is what you say when someone asks you what you do, and it's something that sticks in your mind. And you want to have an audio logo that's like this, not like this. So let me kind of demonstrate that to you. So, of course, I'm not going to use this metaphor. I'm going to use my real audio logo, but it gives you a sense of what you get if you work with me. So I say, well, I work with self-employed professionals, or independent professionals, I sometimes say, such as coaches, consultants, corporate trainers, people like that, people that are self-employed, and I help them attract more of their ideal clients. So there it is in a nutshell. It's very simple. People get it. Sometimes I say I help them attract more of their high-end clients. You can test different phraseology and see what really clicks. But that is the cruise ship that I deliver to my clients. And if you talk about a process, I would say, well, what I do is I do marketing coaching and consulting with people. So I don't know what that really means. That's a process that I deliver. And what I do is I teach people a process of marketing called Marketing Ball, which I turn marketing into a game, blah, blah, blah. Now, that's all very interesting in its place, but not for an initial connection, not for your core marketing. So when you go to a website, when you talk to somebody, when they see your blog, they should have a good sense of what that ultimate outcome is all about. And this is not just thinking up a clever marketing phrase and trying to get it across to people. This is really looking at the essence of your business, really what your business is about, what you are committed to. You know, the cruise line is committed to giving great cruises that people love and that creates a memory for a lifetime. That's what they're about. So what are you about in terms of that actual result that you produce for your clients? And again, it's so easy to fall back into talking about process. I call that process speak. And the thing is, we are so close to our process, and maybe the process that we have is great in applying to our clients' problems to produce the result. And you can talk about that later, but it's never the first thing you want to talk about, because people will usually just get confused. And they're thinking, well, what's in it for me? What do I get? This is what you get. You get the cruise. The process is behind the scenes. Who cares if they really understand that process? And so the most successful independent professionals are always talking about results, those ultimate outcomes, etc. So I really want to hammer this point home, because I've given talks for years and years and years and years about this, and it seems to be the issue that everybody gets stuck on. I ask people what they do, even after explaining what I just explained now, and then they give me a process. And then I pointed out, well, you're telling me how you do something. You're not telling me what they get. And that's what you need to do. Okay, so let's look at the next piece here. Everything you need to make it work, that's what you deliver. You want to make it work for them, just like the cruise line. They make it work. They make it a pleasant, great, fun, memorable cruise. And with your service, you want to make it work for them. So what I came up with is a concept a few years back, and I call it the H.E.O.B. And so that's taking your concept of your ultimate outcome and turning it into a program that you can sell. Because here's the problem with a concept, even the cruise line thing, that, that's obviously, in the cruise line world, you could call that an H.E.O.B. But when I talk about we help you attract your ideal clients or your high-end clients, they get that as a result. But then the next question is, well, what does that look like? What is the service that you offer to do that? So many of you on the call, offer training services or coaching services or consulting services or design services or whatever it is that you offer, and that's the package that you have. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you want to get higher end clients that pay you more, that are excited about what you do, that you really make a difference for them, you create what I call H.E.O.B. So you're all wondering, well, what does H.E.O.B. stand for? H.E.O.B. is high-end, outcome-based services and programs. So it's higher end because they pay more for it, and it's outcome-based because you help them produce a result. You don't go through a process. So, and it's high-end not because you just want to charge them a lot more and get what the market will bear, because if you're going to help a client produce an outcome, it takes longer. So I've done 3-month programs, 6-month programs, but my real big H.E.O.B. program was a year-long program. So it was high-end, it was expensive, and it needed to be expensive to really produce the level of result. And the level of result is for the client to get to a place where they could confidently attract their own high-end clients for the rest of their career. It's like they had it nailed down. So it takes a lot of training and a lot of work and a lot of coaching and a lot of support. So you want to start thinking about what is your H.E.O.B. What's it going to be? And we're going to talk about how to create that. So it's a little bit like taking all these Lego pieces, and those are the components of your H.E.O.B. Those are the building blocks of your H.E.O.B., like Lego is building blocks. So you take all those building blocks and you put them together and you get something like this. So this is a Lego hotel, right? So here we have the final result. This is the ultimate outcome, very much parallel to that cruise ship. So you've taken all those components, put it together, and there you have it. So your H.E.O.B. might include some of the following elements, and it really depends on what your business, because your H.E.O.B. has to be customized to your clients, to your knowledge, to your capabilities, to your love of what you do. You don't want to offer a big H.E.O.B. program that you don't like to deliver, or parts of it that you don't like. So there's all kinds of pieces. So there's no right answer here, but these are some of the pieces that you might have in a program as a coach that really wants to take people to a higher level. So one is assessment. So often that's a starting point for a program, so you know more about who those clients are and what their weaknesses or strengths are and how they operate and how they think and all of that. So that's a great place to start. And that costs whatever it costs. The assessment costs something. It takes time for you to evaluate it. So you have assessments, and then you have perhaps some written content. That's something that I've done a lot. So when someone joined my H.E.O.B. program, I have a whole website that is full of content. We're going to talk about that later. And it's got tutorials, it's got how-tos, it's got transcriptions of expert interviews, it's got audio content as well, it's got interactive content as well. It's interactive in that people fill out forms and do exercises, all of those kinds of things. I like to say, and then there's some training perhaps, and perhaps the training is online with videos or audio programs or podcasts, that kind of thing. So I like to say when I'm doing a high-end program, I outsource the training to myself virtually through these kind of things, the written content, the interactive content, and the training. So I don't want to be on the line live training people, although, you know, it seems you have to do some of that. I want people to study that on their time so that we're interacting through our group programs, etc. They've got all the basics, and then we're working in more depth. So it would also include some coaching. And in my big H.E.O.B program, I did both one-on-one coaching and group coaching. So I'd have 15 to 20 people on the call twice a month, and we'd talk about what they learned, where they are, where they're stuck, what questions they have, helping to motivate them, help them shift their mindset, take the next thing, set bigger goals, all of that. So if you might have a strength in some of these areas more than others, and maybe you put more time and effort into that particular area. And then there's some consulting as well, some advice and direction and how-tos and step-by-step and all of that. So again, you know, you might be a designer. I've worked with web designers doing this, and it's a very different kind of thing. It's more the different parts of the website and how they put this together and how they build the SEO and how they help them with the content. And, you know, so virtually anything you can turn into a comprehensive H.E.O.B program. And, you know, instead of selling a website for X dollars, you sell it for Y dollars, much more, because they get more. And then I think the final one is third-party services. So one of the services I added to my Marketing Mastery program, my H.E.O.B program, was I had a writer that would look over their written materials and edit it for them. And sometimes when they really got stuck, help them write it from scratch. Now I can do that, but that's very time consuming. So it was better for me to outsource that and pay a writer a certain amount of money per person in order to create great materials. And then I didn't pay someone for this, but I outsourced any web development. And basically they paid for that, but I found a person that knew my system and how great websites work and all of that. So that's how I did that. So that's the kind of content that you might have in your H.E.O.B program. So there you have your completed house, your completed structure. You know, it's all of a piece. It's one big thing that you offer. Now, the next question is, how do you market this? So I've got something. It's like a product. It's more tangible. It's more real. It has all these different components put together. It's done in a certain way. So say that you have all that together. We're actually going to go back and talk a bit more about creating it in a minute. But how do you market it? Well, I'm going to tell you how I marketed my high-end services. And again, your situation will be dynamically different, but this is what I did. First is, the first thing when I'm creating a program, I write the, quote, sales letter for the program. So I sit down and write, here's what's missing for you. Here's what you need. Here's what you want to get. Here's the outcomes that you want to produce. Here's what we offer in this program in order to help you get the outcome. Here's the structure of the program. So I start with the high end with the ultimate outcome, and then I go right down to here's some of our process and what it looks like when you're in this program. So, you know, it's a year long. You meet with me once a month. You meet with the group twice a month. You have a mastermind group. You study this material, et cetera, on and on. So I write all that up into a compelling description, and that's my first piece of marketing. Then I design a teleclass or a webinar, much like this, but ones that I promote myself usually. And I say, in the teleclass or the webinar, you hold the teleclass, and you make an offer at the end. And when you're selling something high-end like this that costs several $1,000s, it's unusual that people go, oh, great, and then go to your website and click a button and pay all that money. I wish you could do that, but it doesn't usually work that way. The offer is usually a complimentary session, and I call them strategy sessions. And so we sit down with someone that's interested in the program, that wants to know more, and I really spend a lot of time in that meeting finding out about them. So I put together a script or an order or, a structure for this selling process. And I have a detailed 11-step process. And it's the questions I ask, and it's the follow-up, and it's the closes, et cetera, et cetera. But I make it sound like it really is just a conversation in which I'm asking three main things, which is, where are you right now? What's going on in your business, in your marketing? What's working? What's not working? Number two is, where are you going? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? What's the difference that you want to make? Why is that important to you? I go into that in great depth. I really get interested. And then the third one is, what's standing in your way? How come you are where you are now and not at your goal? How come you haven't been able to get there on your own? What's missing for you? And then after that, if it seems there's a fit, I say, well, let me explain more about the Marketing Mastery Program. And you'd say, well, let me explain more about my program or services. And then I go over it. Now, the great thing is they've read all about it, usually after the teleclass or before they've taken the teleclass. So they've read several pages about it already and how it works. They've written that right up, the number one thing on the page here. And so when I get to explaining, I don't have to spend a huge amount of time pitching it or selling it. I just sort of, here's the basic overview, here's the ultimate outcome, here's the things I expect you to do to succeed, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how it works. And you just conduct that complete selling process, and then you close and follow up. I'll say things like, so if you did this program, can you see yourself succeeding with it? That's one of my really powerful closes. It's a very simple close. And then I say, if you were to do this program, could you do all of these things that it requires? Because it's a lot of work on your part. I say, can you attend the classes? Can you do this? Can you do the homework? Can you put in the time to do the study? And then I say, well, here it is, and this is how the payment works, and here's the total price, and here's how we break it down, and you pay monthly. And then I say, what do you say? Do you think it's for you or not? And people usually say, well, I think it is. Got to talk to my wife. And I say, okay, well, let me know in a week, something like that. And I follow up with them. And anywhere between 50 and 70% of those people that I have conversations with sign up for the program. So that's how it works. So can this really work? So who are these smiling faces? These are people that were in my Marketing Mastery 3, so I have 20 people in the program. 20 people times about $12,000 per person worked out to 240,000 people that I earned working about half time with this group. The other half of the time I did other things. So earned $240,000. So every year I did this program, I earned about $250,000. So using exactly the process that I taught you about. That's how I attracted this whole group, not just one at a time, a whole group of great high-end clients. And not only are they great clients, they're great to work with. I got to be friends with them. I got to know their troubles, their travails, their ups and their downs, their ins, their outs. I really developed a solid relationship with all these people. So it's very, very fulfilling. So how do you make it all work? Big question. So this is the more, abstract, bigger part of it, but it's extraordinarily important. So the first is you want to create a bigger vision for your business, because if you're just doing coaching or consulting or web design or whatever, you need to create a bigger vision. You want to, say, work with more people, make a bigger impact, really make a difference, not just whatever the impact is you're making now. Not to say that the impact you're making now is not good, but what could be bigger? What could be more exciting for you? What could get you up in the morning, thrilled to be taking that next big step? The next is, what is your passion? So how can you channel what you already do into your business and make sure that passion really comes through? So for instance, one of my biggest passions, of course, marketing and how to market and the techniques of marketing are a passion for me. But the other side of the program is helping people shift their marketing mindsets, because marketing mindsets are where people get stuck and they can't move forward and they don't know what to do and they can't find the time and they just can't imagine themselves doing that. And we've had so many breakthroughs with people, like, I can't charge that amount of money, that's impossible, and we show them not through how to do it, but how to shift their mindset so that they double their prices. And they work with higher end people and they get into bigger places. And so a lot of the mindset work is really my passion. And when I talk to somebody, when I have a coaching session on mindset, things shift for people. They really shift, sometimes very dramatically, and they're doing something completely different the next week because they see things differently. So what is your passion? What do you do the best? And make sure to build that into your program, although it might not be your whole program. Next is, we talked about this, really identify your target market. Who are they? Where are they? Where can you find them? Where can you locate them? How can you get the word out to them? Do you need to do speaking or do you need to work with an affiliate that has a big list of these people, or do you have a list? But you better know who your target market is, or it's not going to click for them what you're offering. And then you create your H.E.O.B program, as we talked about, by putting together all those components or building blocks and just putting the whole darn thing together. And then you develop your marketing strategies, as we just talked about. Okay, now I've got the program, put the marketing together piece by piece, brick by brick, and then develop your selling strategies, which is just the follow-on of the marketing strategies. So you feel when you get somebody on the phone that you can conduct a really competent conversation that leads them from interest in your service to commitment to taking the next step to buying your service. So you really can't underestimate how important all of this is, but selling strategies are extremely important because you get a lot of meetings with people. If you can't convert them, everything falls apart. And finally, you roll it out step by step. I'm a very organized person. Maybe not innately, but I find that if I put systems together and do things step by step, and I'm careful about, timing and calendaring and, follow up with the email to make sure people are on the webinars and teleclasses, all that kind of stuff. You just roll it out step by step in an organized kind of way. That it all works. It all comes together. So it's about creating a bigger game, a bigger teddy bear, bigger, more exciting, more dynamic, something that gets you excited and thrilled to do what you're doing. Also, to make more money. I mean, doing these high-end programs, I'm making more money than I ever made in my life. And it's great to have money to buy a car when you need it, and you never have your credit cards pile up. And you can put a lot of money away for retirement, things like that. I'm not into tons of possessions. I mean, that's not where I'm at. But it's good to make good money. It gives you more security, and it's good. I don't think I have to oversell the benefits of money. And the next one is having more fun. When I worked for years and years and years with people individually, doing marketing, coaching, and consulting individually, and when I started to do groups, I started to have more fun because it was a community. It was more dynamic. There was more interaction. I saw results faster. It was like playing in my business, and that was a blast. And so I really, fun is a high value for me. If it's not fun, if it's a slog, why do it? And the final thing is make a bigger difference. I help people attract more of their ideal clients, and some of those are big corporations and individuals that are doing great things in the world. So I'm empowering them to get those clients to make the difference that they make with them. So I'm making a difference on multiple levels. I've taught people things that in turn those people have taught their clients or helped them with, and there's a wave effect. So that's what I'm about, is making a difference. So whatever it is you're doing, there should be a making a difference component to it. So how do you learn that? How do you learn to do that? So before I get into that, I want to do Q&A on this. Are you there, Carol? Can you hear me?
I certainly am, yes.
You know, the thing about a webinar, you're doing a webinar and you're going, I hope the line is still on, because I'm hot today. I'm saying the right stuff. I hope it's recording.
That's right. It is. We're good.
So I think did I express this pretty well? Did you get a good sense of it, Carol?
Absolutely, yes. Inspiring. Definitely got some great pieces to it, and just
Good.
to see the group that you have made such a difference with. It's great. Thank
Yes.
you for sharing that with us.
Okay, and so while you stare at this pretty woman with the scrunched up face, you can ask. Do you have some questions? Does someone have questions?
There is. Yes,
Good.
Norma has her hand up, and I'm just going to open her so that we can hear her. Just a second, Norma. I'm unmuting your mic. I'm trying to unmute her mic. There, Norma, your mic is unmuted. If you would like to just ask your question.
Hi, Norma.
Hey, Norma, are you there?
Can't hear her. Oops.
Perhaps not.
Can people type answers and you can read them?
They certainly can. I invited her to do that, and she has not yet. So I just invited the entire audience to, if they have questions, just to put them in the question or chat box, and I will address them to you. And I'll just see if Norma sends the question in that way, because obviously perhaps her mic is not working. So.
Okay. Any others queued up? Yep.
Not just at the moment, no.
Okay. We want to try hand again and see if we can get the audio.
Let's try it. Hang on.
It might just be on her end.
It could be. 1 second. Dear Norma, can you hear us now?
We hear an echo.
I do. Norma, if you'd just like to ask your question, we can answer it directly.
Nope.
No, not working. Okay, Norma, if you want to just put it in the chat box, we will definitely answer it for you. Thank you. Okay, I just put that back on mute. So if you want to go ahead, Robert.
Well, I want to get some questions before I move forward.
Sure. Okay. We're looking for questions from the audience. If there's something that you would like to ask Robert, certainly make use of his expertise here. By all means, give me a question in the question box, or just put your hand up, and I would be happy to.
You know, this is not stuff I just sat down and made up one day. This is years and years and years of trying so many different things and testing things and getting clients, et cetera.
Well, I have a question. If you,
okay, great.
Because what I saw was you had the photo of your team or the group that you were coaching and had gone through your program. Are you doing that live and in person, or is it actually on a virtual class?
Yeah, it's mostly virtual, but there's a workshop component, a 3-day workshop near the beginning of the program.
Oh,
and
excellent.
I found that really made a difference to create a community.
Mm-hmm.
Because without that, you just don't really know who that person is. But if you've talked to them, if you've done exercises with them, if you've asked me questions, if we've laughed together and eaten together, it just creates a whole different level of trust. So here's the thing about my programs. People do not drop out of my program because they're so connected to it, you know. So how the program has gone, it starts in April and May. We do virtual stuff. We do group programs and one-on-one, and they study stuff. And then after we've sort of gotten the ball rolling, then we do the workshop, and then we go back to the virtual thing. And then later in the program, we have a conference for all the graduates of our mastery program, and we get together for a gathering and do another 2.5-day workshop.
Excellent. Well, now we have some questions. Obviously, we've got people excited.
Oh,
Heba
good.
asks, what would you do if you're just starting your business and don't yet have a client list to market to?
Right. Well, if you're just starting, you should start thinking big now anyway. You should start creating content. You know, I'm at this social media world conference, and that's what everyone's talking about. Create content, blog, write articles, and set up your website so people want to opt in. Offer a really great report that has great stuff in it. Spend some money on good web design. Don't do it yourself. It's the most expensive thing you will ever do in your life. Get really good design that looks like $1 million, like you've been in business forever. Work a lot on the content of your website, and then start getting subscribers. You know, a lot of people have a website, and it's like it takes half an hour to find out where to opt in. Go to my website at actionplan.com, and you'll see that it's really easy, really obvious how to opt in. And try to emulate that first. That's one thing. So the other thing, it really depends on your level of expertise and your, you know, are you really leading edge in what you do or not? I mean, you might have been trained as a coach, but maybe you have a huge amount of business background and experience, and you can get up to a higher level. The other thing is to look around for other people that have bigger lists, that have a similar market but are not competitive. Now, this might not happen tomorrow, really. It can take a couple years to do this. But you find these people and you say, look, I have this great program. And they say, wow, it looks great. So could I do a teleclass for your subscribers? And they say, okay, well, what's in it for me? Well, this program costs X dollars, and I'll give you a percentage of that. And if it's a live program where you're taking up a lot of time, you pay a smaller percentage. And if it's you're just selling a product, which we're really not talking about today, it's a bigger percentage. But for instance, I'll give you a good example. My friend John Agan teaches a program on how to write, publish, and use a book to leverage your professional services. So getting a book is a great idea. So he didn't have a very big list, but I did. And I'd known John for years, so relationship is key. And John said, gee, do you think we could do a teleclass to your list? And I'll, you know, you ask me questions and I'll tell them what I know. Now, John is one of those people that had done consulting with some amazing people like Mark Victor Hansen and, you know, the Chicken Soup for the Soul guys and, you know, other top luminaries, as he called them, top authors. So he knew what he was talking about. He wasn't just a rank beginner, but he really didn't have a list, and he really had no foundation to build his program. So we started to do teleclasses, and not a lot of them, but he's brilliant in the marketing and selling process, and we, you know, I learned from him about how that is done. So he actually created his big H.E.O.B before I did. Anyway, but I had a lot of, you know, good relationship with my clients. So we get hundreds of people onto these webinars and teleclasses, and then he'd offer them some free gifts. He'd give them an initial consultation. He'd give them a free workbook, all this kind of stuff. And a lot of people opted in, and then if they were interested, then he had a conversation with them, just like I said, a strategy session, and he converted a certain percentage into clients. And of course, to do this, I said, well, what do I get out of it, John? You know, I believe in you. I know you know what you're doing. I know people will get value, so I feel I have integrity to promote you. That's an important thing. And John said, well, I've done a lot of number crunching, and he pays me 12.5%. So when someone signs up for the program, I get 12.5%. So, well, that doesn't sound like a lot. Well, John, over a period of about 7 years, generated $1 million in clients, and he paid me $125,000. So you can find someone that understands this concept. look, you can't do this with someone that's not a good marketer that doesn't understand the concept, because they'll get 10 people in the teleclass and no one will convert. So you have to learn, you know, my stuff and then find good partners. But you should start thinking big now. Have a big goal for the near future or a few years down the line. And as you build your material and content and do speaking engagements, all these kinds of things, you'll get better and better at all these different parts, and you'll be able to create a killer program that'll really help people.
Excellent. Just wanted to let you know Norma didn't mean to raise her hand. She apologizes. She's still listening.
Oh,
and
after
I have
all that,
another question for you from DBV. Did you track the 20 people, and what were their before and after results?
Well, I'm not a big guy on stats. I should be. That's one of my weaknesses. But I've maintained contact with all of them. They're now a part of my Marketing Mastery Alliance, which is a free graduate program. I'm one of those dumb people that don't sell a higher-end program to these people. I mean, they got all they need forever. But I support them, and they're all in a Facebook group, and I keep hearing stories over and over how you know, one lady she was doing career consulting when she started the group. She was in Mastery 2. And now she's selling high-end leadership programs to corporations. Another guy was selling, again, leadership, interesting, a lot of leadership people I get. He was selling 5,000 one-day and half-day programs. Now he's selling 6-month to 9-month programs for $35,000 to $40,000. So I've seen people take really big leaps in their business, big leaps. And some double, some have tripled their income, some maybe 25%, 50% increases, but over a period of time, it's really paid off. Hey, and by the way, I'm actually not even promoting this program on this call.
Right.
So I'm promoting something else that's a lot more affordable. I'll tell you about it in a minute, but I'm taking a year off from the Marketing Mastery program. I did it 4 years in a row. And I needed to step back and look at it and see what I wanted to do next and make some adjustments, and I wanted to take a breather. So I made so much money, I don't have to basically work much for a year. So that's what's possible.
That's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
And you may get a lot more requests for the program after this webinar.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I don't know what the form is going to be. I'm trying to be very zen about it. What will be, and I'm getting a lot of education, learning other things, and it's really great. I just finished the last program just the end of April.
Oh, that's great. Well, that was the last question
actually
that we have right now, Robert.
What's
I'll
that?
let you know if that was the last question we have right now, and I'll let you know if there's another one that pops up.
Well, let me move on and answer this question. How do you learn how to do that? Well, you need two things. Really simple. You need information, first of all. You need how-tos on all of this. I gave you the outline, but every piece of that outline, there are details and how-tos and what to say and how to say it and when to say it and the materials put together, blah, blah, blah. Information is absolutely important. You know, there's a book's worth of stuff of information that you have to learn about doing anything like this, taking things to the next level. So information is number one. And number two is just as, if not more important, and that is support. Here's the issue. People learn something, like everyone on the call has gone to a workshop and learned some good things. Then you go back home. Carol, you've done this. I know everybody has done this. And what you implement is a minuscule fraction of what you could implement just because it falls between the cracks, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So we invest all this time and money and information, and then we don't get any support in implementing it. And so, you know, putting as much time, effort, and money into support is important, not just getting the information. Look, I'm embarrassed to say I bought a whole, it was $2,500 CD set and video set on how to sell from the platform. And I finished about 10% of it, and it's still sitting in my office. Maybe this year, because now I have more space, I'm going to study that thing. But it's like I didn't have anybody nudging me or supporting me or said or gave me a questionnaire at the end of each one. I mean, it was just there, you know. So I'm as bad as anybody else. So you need information and support, or it's just not going to happen. So here's the thing. So this is the program that we came up with, and it's kind of outrageous. It's kind of radical. So it's a membership program, and essentially it's like a lending library in a sense. So we give away $5,900 worth of information in programs. I'll go into the details. Actually, that's the next slide. We have all these programs. We have the Fast Track to More Clients program. So that's an online program that you read, you listen, you do exercises. And that's a really foundational program to build your basic marketing skills. And it's comprehensive. It's the heart of what I've been teaching for years and years and years. Then we have a whole other program called Expert Interviews, and we've interviewed 60 top marketing experts that have relevant information for self-employed professionals. This isn't corporate marketing. And we interview them, and I interview them as if this was the last chance I would ever have to talk to them, and this is stuff I really want to squeeze out of them to get every tip, every idea, every strategy. The interviews are generally 75 minutes to 90 minutes long, and then we transcribe those interviews. So if you like to read, you can listen, etc. Then we have a whole program in there called the Website Toolkit, because building a great website is key to all of this. It holds everything together. And this has audio, it has written material, it has resources, it has links, it has everything. And we've had a few thousand people that have developed websites using the Website Toolkit. We used to sell it separately. And then we have my original product, which is the InfoGuru Marketing Manual, and it's a 288-page manual that covers even more information on how to attract clients. So we give all of that away for free. You join the club and it's all there. Pow, you can start using it immediately. But just as important, as I said, is the support. So then we charge you only $29 a month to support you in implementing what you learn. So because if you don't get the support, some people say, oh, I'll just read all this, and they just get overwhelmed, don't implement it, and drop out of the club. But the people that take advantage of the support system stay in the club sometimes for years. And so these are the support components. The very first thing when you join the club, you get a support email series that goes for a few months that supports you in completing that Fast Track program. So it tells you what to do next, and here's the next thing, and it just sort of keeps you going. And then we have coaching calls, live coaching calls with me like this, with the people in the program, explaining certain aspects of marketing. And we've done over 70 coaching calls in the last 4 years. It's all there. It's not all transcribed, but you can listen to them all. But usually the outline of most of the calls is included, so you can look at the outline. So we do those live coaching calls twice a month. So a lot of people attend those. That really supports people. And then we have mastermind groups. We actually we're matchmakers, and you fill out a little application or a little form, and then my virtual assistant matches the people together, and we get 3 or 4 people in a group, and we tell you exactly how to support each other. We have a whole structure for that. And then, as they say, but there's more, we have a support forum. And this has really just taken off. Our support forums in the past haven't been too robust, and now they are just the most active part, and we're really creating a strong community. And we do it on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group for our forum. And here's the thing. I answer virtually every question. So it's like getting me as a coach. You have a question. You want feedback on your website? I look at it and give you feedback. You want to know where a resource is? I tell you where to find it. You want to try to understand something in the marketing programs you've been studying? I point to what you need to study and learn and give you fine points. So, are you overwhelmed yet, Carol?
lot of information, a lot
Yeah.
of potential there.
So here's the thing, all of this support is not, it's not about more information, it's just supporting you and learning all this stuff. So not everybody takes advantage of all of it, but it's like, so instead of doing a $12,000 program, I'll tell you the price, and well, I just told you the price. It's a $29 a month program, you know. The mastery group, the only big difference with the mastery group, the only big difference is I met with you one-on-one, and I gave specific feedback to your materials, and I talked to you, and I was accessible. But this is pretty close. So you're getting most of, like 95% of a $12,000 program for $29 a month. And we even have this tracking software. You know, we have this whole concept of marketing ball and going around the bases, and it's a way to put your leads into the tracking software, and you can track your leads that way. So that's a support in and of itself. So what's next here? So when you join the club, this is the page you see. Congratulations for joining the club. And on the first page it tells you, here's what to do. Welcome to the club. To get the most value, just do these things first. So we really outline it. We tell you, do not do 10 million things at once. Do this thing and complete that. And then we support you in that, and then do the next thing, etc. So it's very, very simple. And if you want to attract more clients, if you need more information to do that, which we all do, and you need the support to make it work, I invite you to join the club and get the first week of the club for free. So that means you sign up for the club, you put in your credit card. We actually charge you 10 cents for the first week, just so we make sure your credit card was entered correctly. And then if you like it, you stay in the club, and you'll be charged $29 after the first week. And then a month later, if you don't want to go another month, you say, well, no, it's too much for me, or I've got all I need, whatever, we'll take you out. Or we just keep charging you until you tell us to stop. So if you really add it up, you know, if you go for a year, it's a little over $300. So it's still a fraction of what we charge for a whole year of the mastery program. So that's how it works. That's my passion, and that's how I support people in producing results. And we have 800 people approximately in the club. It's always growing. And we've set it up so that we can serve a lot of people. And a lot of coaches are in this program, a lot of consultants, design people, writers, people like that. So we have about 6 minutes left, I see. So if anyone has any questions about the club, and there's the link to go to. You can just go to the website or actionplan.com/fasttrack, and that'll take you to the page that explains even more about the club. Go to the bottom, click a link, and then you can join.
And I have also put that in the chat box so people can click on it directly while they're on the screen or while they're in the presentation. So both ways people can get in touch with you. And what a tremendous value, Robert. That is just amazing that people can get that kind of support, because I agree with you. Without all the information in the world, without the support to put it into action, just as information out there. So very, very worthwhile. $29. Great.
Yeah, you spend more on Starbucks in a week than that.
Yeah, lots of people do.
Really?
Absolutely.
Does Starbucks get you more high-end clients? I don't think so.
No.
Think of everything you spend in a month that's $29. I mean, you can hardly find anything that you spend that little for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see any other questions coming up just at the moment. So
well, hopefully they're all rushing to my page and signing up.
Exactly.
We shall see. We shall see. But you know, if you're not getting as many clients as you want, and you know, the whole program isn't about just high-end clients and high-end stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to be clear about that. We have a whole coaching call series that we did that goes more into depth about that whole high-end piece. We call it the H.E.O.B program. It's 4 coaching calls, so that's 6 hours of material. That's right there in the coaching calls, recorded coaching calls.
Right.
You know, for people that are just starting, this is perfect for people starting. But it's also, You can take it at whatever level, but people have gone through this that have been in business for years, and they realize that what they know about marketing and how to really create a message and write marketing materials and do the sales process, they learn a ton. So it really hits people at almost any level, the startup level to the advanced.
Right.
We've had some amazing people that have just done this program and grown their businesses tremendously using it.
I can imagine. Yes. Yeah, great. But I took lots of notes just from our presentation. So I just want to thank you for taking the time, Robert, for breaking down this, the action marketing plan and giving us some wonderful pointers for attracting our ideal clients. And I just want to tell everybody that the next Practice Pay Solutions Business Mastery Series webinar is on Wednesday, April 23rd. I'm sorry, that's Tuesday, April 23rd. And it's about with Eva Gregory, about creating a business of purpose, passion, and prosperity. And I'll just sign off now. This is Carol Vickers from Empower Consulting Group, and I work with Liz Christopherson to partner with Practice Pay Solutions to present these wonderful Business Mastery Series. Thank you so much, Robert, for taking time out of your day today to provide us with this incredibly valuable information. And we look forward to being in touch with you, and we look forward for the audience to seeing them on the next webinar. So thank you all so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Carol.
You're welcome, Robert. Bye-bye
Okay, bye-bye from San Diego.
Thank you.